welcome into the Ryan Ripken Show. Oh, and it's not something if that sign doesn't go down. But, hey, how we doing here? I guess for Halloween, I'm dressing up to see what it looked like to put myself together one time. But happy Thursday, happy Halloween. Yes, we're all still celebrating here, and there are some scaries, but not as many, at least with the Baltimore Ravens, as you can say around the rest of the NFL world. There were some scaries last night for the New York Yankees. We're going to cover the World Series. We're going to have Kadri Ismail join us and talk about this Ravens-Broncos preview and how the Ravens with the theme can rebound after a tough loss against the Brownies. And then, yes, we're going around the NFL a little bit. The Jets season, it's kind of on the line. It already is on the line. But there's talks about, I don't know, if the Jets were to lose again, should Aaron Rodgers still start games? Stop traffic. I thought we've heard it all there in New York. There's a quarterback issue, specifically developing young quarterbacks, and we're going to dive into that conversation. Mel Kiper Jr. had a quote, and Adam Schefter responds to the pandemic. Or not the pandemic's the wrong word. What's the right word? Definitely not, but it is an issue. Was it? Epidemic. Tomato here. And I'm going to try to you're going to understand why I'm a little bit frazzled here in just a moment here. But we got a lot to talk about in the Nick Moore of the Baltimore Ravens.
Distracting in here.
And his friend, who is one of the top gamers out there, Tyler Smith's going to join us as well to talk a little bit about the gaming world. He's a huge Ravens fan and how bad Nick is at Call of Duty. But Brad, let's go start with you here because at least I can look at you with a straight face and feel good. Happy Halloween, my friend.
Happy Halloween as well. Look, we should have done a better job at trying to figure out if we were going to dress up for this or not.
I know.
But there's someone in the studio that is taking it to the nth degree.
He's ready. Are you Toucan Sam?
I should have brought fruit. It's on me. I should have brought Fruit Loops. I fumbled the bag there. But I'd been saying this forever.
I didn't know, Kevin.
You see how does it look? Look at this. You see, this is like an extension. This is the extension.
Don't stroke it.
No. Just keep going. Keep going.
Hey, make sure it's good. Is it a smooth beak?
It is. So I can't hear anything out of this because it literally blocks off your ears. And like I wore this to a party one time, and I kept like slapping people in the face with the beak when I was turning to talk to them.
Yeah, because it's also Kevin. No offense, but with your height, like that would be eye level for me.
Yeah.
There's so many pause moments in this conversation already.
Look at this. Happy
Halloween.
So that's what we're dealing with here. Zach, how you doing virtual today? How are we doing?
I was having a fantastic day, as you said. The World Series concluded last night. A lot of fun stuff to talk about today, and then I kind of got blindsided by the toucan in the studio. I was not expecting that, so I'm a little frazzled right now. I'm not going to lie. These are kind of those moments in media where they tell you expect the unexpected. I wasn't expecting that, so that's on me. I got to keep my guard up. I should have known Kevin had something.
I've been saying it was going to be crazy for the past week plus. So I know people didn't know what to expect, but I said expect it to be crazy.
I thought the banana was something. This is a whole new level.
And the other part of it here is, our comment for people. If you know, and I quote, this was a Kevin quote, not if I get you off.
I forgot about that.
One of the many.
Yeah, I didn't forget about that. That's certainly the case. But I don't think the rest of us did. But hey, that's what we're dealing with. Let us know what you guys are doing for Halloween. And Brad, I think you got a good poll that do you want to talk about the question for a second? We can let it marinate.
No, I think it's a good one because we are going to be talking about the World Series wrap up here. I put in the poll question today is Juan Soto will be a blank next year.
Ooh.
And I put a Yankee, a Met, Dodger, or any other team. And it's actually interesting response so far. It's early yet, but the Yankees have a 31% chance, according to our listeners. The Mets is the most popular one at 38%. Dodgers is 15%, and any other team is also 15%. So we'll let that go as we continue this conversation.
Yeah, we'll let that marinate here. And let's talk about the World Series then before Q joins us here, right? So here, look. I know a lot of Baltimore. Really, I feel like everybody that wasn't a New York Yankee fan was rooting for the Yankees to lose.
Correct.
Right? Any baseball fan, it felt like it. And guess what? The Dodgers finished it off. But guys, I'll tell you what, it felt like this was going to go back to LA. It felt like this series, sneakily, I was thinking, man, is this going to go to 7? Because the mojo was back for New York. They were hitting home runs. Aaron Judge was getting in a rhythm, and it just felt like the momentum was shifting. And then guess what? The momentum shifted all the way back in the 5th inning when the Yankees, for lack of a better word, they just imploded defensively. And guys, I've talked about it with you guys. You guys feel the same way. You cannot give great teams extra opportunities. And Garrett Cole was shoving. I don't think the Dodgers had a hit until that 5th inning.
Nope.
No.
Drops the ball. Anthony Volpe, bad throw. And then after that, Garrett Cole still was 1 pitch away. And that ball getting over, Mookie Betts hits that ball to first base. And for the ones that are saying, well, Rizzo's got to come charge it. By the way, if you watch it, Garrett Cole got off the mound and then just stopped. And if you want to understand where that ball was doing, that ball was dancing. When I say it's dancing, it was hit off the end of the bat. It was cued. So it's going like this. So Rizzo didn't want the ball to dance by him. If Garrett Cole busts his butt and gets over, I still think they get the out at first, and we're not having this conversation. Then Freddie Freeman, who went on to win the MVP, keeps doing his thing. And then Teoscar Hernandez with 2 outs, drives in the tying runs. And then in the 8th inning, a catcher's interference and 2 sacrifice flies, and the Los Angeles Dodgers knock out the Yankees just like that. When I move, you move.
Just like that.
Just
Damn.
like that. I mean, Zach, I know no one loves hate watching more than you for the Yankees case, but to me, it was painful, man. Like, that was just painful baseball, but you know what? They didn't deserve to win that game, and they did not deserve to head back to LA for Game 6.
No, and I think it's got to be said, this was a complete and utter implosion. This had nothing to do with the Dodgers going out there as we see the play here. This play right here, obviously, it's the 3rd error, the 3rd miscue of the inning. You have the Judge drop, then Volpe throwing to Chisholm, who's not comfortable at 3rd, hasn't played there much at all in his career. Tough play either way. But then Garrett Cole is either he covers, Rizzo goes to first, and you're out of it all. When Stanton hit that home run to take the Yankees up 5-0, hand up, I texted a friend and said, they're not going to do this, are they? I was fully ready for this thing to go 6 or 7 games. It looked like the Yankees had all the momentum. Aaron Judge, not only does he hit that monster home run to give him the 2-0 lead, he then makes that incredible catch against the wall. It felt like suddenly, oh boy, here comes Aaron Judge, and he's going to get the momentum going. And it just disappears. Complete and utter implosion from the Yankees. I mean, this is tough to watch. I couldn't imagine my team being up 5-0 in an elimination game. And like you said, this is 5 unearned runs. If they get this out, none of this happens. It's still 5-0. One play right here obviously is going to get exemplified as the reason that the Yankees kind of blew this.
Yep, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But if you look at this again, and this is what I was trying to show, Garrett gets off the mound to start, but then all of a sudden he like stutter steps. He just shuts it down. And Mookie, this is why you bust your ass in every situation, because you never know what's going to happen. And because that ball is moving around, Rizzo is going to be a little bit more patient with it. If Garrett busts his butt still, this inning's over. And look, he's pointing like, hey, you. Maybe it's bang, bang. Maybe let's just say Mookie's safe. But if you don't give yourself a chance, you're never going to know. This is why we practice this over and over and over and over again every spring training. And it's a good learning lesson for everyone out there, even in the big leagues. Yeah. This is the biggest moment of the season. But this is an elementary topic that is taught from the lower levels all the way up. And in this case, it was just one more thing that the Yankees could not overcome. And now they're scratching their heads because they have some decisions to be made, Brad.
It wasn't even really one more thing, in my opinion. Look, this is something that we saw from the Yankees all season long, especially as fans of the O's who, have seen this terrible defense from the Yankees. It's almost a wonder if the Yankees hadn't had an easy trip to the World Series as far as opponents are concerned. Their defense would have killed them much sooner than it actually did.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing I talked about during the season, right? The Orioles, if they had, when I talk about defense in general, if things go wrong, well, the reality is, you can lose a lot of games. And if you win games, then great. You can then hide the images. But the playoffs in the biggest moments are going to magnify the little things. And in this series, the little things were magnified for New York. And guys, it's not crazy to think this is just the reality. The Dodgers were 1 out away, 1 pitch away from losing game 1. Yankees could have won that game. They could have definitely won last night. And then obviously they won game 4. This series can be completely different, but you don't do the little things. The Dodgers did them right. And right now, LA's champions. And now guess what? And I know we got our guest coming on in a second, but Soto, I think Soto's ready to say, hey, whoever's going to pay me the most, Brad, we're rocking and rolling with, right? So do we want to play that clip after? You want to play it right now?
No, quick? Yeah. I mean, we have our pull up and everything, so it makes sense. Let's go ahead. So Juan Soto was asked if he's going to be a Yankee next year. And so this is his answer.
The advantage with signing you based on what you experienced?
I feel like every team has the same opportunities when I'm going to the free agency. I don't want to say anybody has an advantage, because at the end of the day, we're gonna look what they have and how much they want me.
So, and I get it, right? Like that's an honest answer. Hey, we're gonna see what's gonna happen. But right after your team gets knocked out of the World Series, where you just had one of the most iconic moments in franchise history for the Yankees, and they've had a lot of great moments, but that game 5 against the Guardians, and all of a sudden it's not about, I'm going to take some time to think about it, and everyone doesn't like the politically correct answer, and that's the politically correct answer. I got to take some time to think about it. I love being here. I love the guys. I give Juan credit, but at the same time, if you're a Yankees fan, you can't feel good that he's looking to give you a discount to come back. And I mean, he might be going to a different New York team when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I think there's a real strong possibility he goes to the Mets. I mean, I think that's going to be – he's going to command a lot of money. I personally don't think he's going to be worth anywhere near what Ohtani is, because I just think that Ohtani provides a lot more value, especially giving his ability to pitch and then also swing the bat. I mean, he's obviously the best player we've probably seen, not just in this generation, but many before, if not the best of all time as far as players are concerned. But Juan Soto, his defense suffered this year. His bat, obviously we can't argue that, but to me, that's why I don't think that he's going to be the highest paid player of all time, because Ohtani's just so much more valuable. I could see $500 million contract coming Juan Soto's way. He is still super young. I don't see it being anything crazy that we saw from like a Ohtani type contract.
Yeah, I think we're hearing he could get upwards to $700 million, which is what Ohtani got. But I think the years, if that happened, the years would have to be like 14 years.
Yeah.
He is very young. He's in his prime. He's had so much accomplished.
He's
but
not even in his prime yet.
It's terrifying what the guy's done so far in his first 6+ years in the leagues.
And like you guys just talked about, Juan, the body's not even cold. Like, the season just ended. This isn't a few days later. This isn't after some, end of season press conference a week later. This is moments after all of Yankee fan base just had their hearts ripped out. And then you're sitting there, and like you said, props for him for being open about it. He didn't sugarcoat anything. And in a lot of ways, Juan Soto's never sugarcoated anything. He's always kind of been that guy where he's like, he knows his talent and he wants to go out there and give himself the best chance to win and make money. So you knew what Juan Soto was, but gosh, if you're a Yankee fan, this does not make you feel great at all. Maybe it's just honestly an in-the-moment reaction from Juan, where he's kind of upset about the World Series and he's like, hey, I'll go anywhere. But definitely if you're a New York fan and you were hoping for a little bit of reassurance from your free agent superstar, you didn't find it in that interview.
Nope. And all that's happened right now is that the Yankees ended a 15-year drought to get to the World Series. You had two of the most talented hitters in the game on the same team, in the same lineup, hitting back-to-back. And now you're going into an offseason just like every other team except the Los Angeles Dodgers, thinking, how the hell do we get over that hurdle and bring a championship back to your organization? So we got a lot more to talk about it. We'll hit the hot stove as we get closer into the season. But Toucan Sam over there, Kevin, we got our guest coming on here to talk a little bit of foosball.
Yeah, Q has never seen me like this, so I'm excited to see
boy.
his reaction. But hey, man, when it's Halloween, it's Halloween. So we're gonna get into some Ravens talk here. Without any further ado, the man, the myth, the legend himself. It is former Baltimore Ravens wide receiver, Super Bowl champion Kadri Ismail. So let's bring him on in. There he is.
Q.
Yeah, Q. Hey man, it's Halloween. Gotta go all out, and this is the costume I went with today.
I didn't get the memo. If I'd have got the memo, I would have put on something Halloween-esque.
Oh,
but I don't have any. You know what I'm saying? It could be my face. We could go ahead and bust on that and be like, oh God, who knows? But yeah, Toucan Sam. Okay, gotcha.
Should have got the Fruit Loops
It
going.
looked like Ryan was Fred Flintstone at one of the.
Yeah, a little yabba dabba do for you here, Q. But I mean, honestly, like, if I can be transparent with it, I just put this right off. It was sitting over here. So my sister went to, she currently works in the athletic department at CU for the Buffs. Go Buffs! And they were selling these things out here. So we just had this in the studio. And so
Wow.
when I saw Kevin walk in and he was stroking his beak, I'm like, well, I got to figure out something here. So here we are. And guess what? There is football happening, but it is Halloween at the same time. And Q, where do we start? Where do we start with this? I know the theme in general is rebounding here, and I actually have maybe a couple clips that are back. It was actually the two plays that were at the end of the Ravens game. I think that all fans could understand it. It really embodied that game of missed opportunities and also kind of what a problem's been for the Ravens defense. So back-to-back plays, I wanted to play with Jameis. I'm going to pull this up for you. But actually talk a little bit about what it's kind of like to get punched in the mouth like that, because that definitely had to be a wake-up call for the team.
So the biggest thing that I thought going into the game, that it was a classic trap game. You're coming off 5-game win streak. They're coming off 5-game losing streak. They have a new quarterback. He's a leader. He's a rah-rah type guy. Big believer as far as his faith is concerned. So he's going to really have this extra motivation and psychological advantage to his game. And they got talent. They got talent on the defensive side of the football, and they can clearly, which they did, expose your defense. And so it was just the perfect melting pot. No, by the way, this isn't an NFC opponent. This is an AFC division rival that you got to play well against. And John Harbaugh, there are times where his teams have had classic letdowns versus the Browns. And sure enough, as the game unfolded, again, you just saw a classic meltdown. So the rebound for me has to be, what do you really want to do with this season? Clearly, Lamar Jackson, did what he did. You look at what Derrick Henry did, but there were some missed opportunities offensively. But the blaring, obvious weakness right now is the defense.
And right here, Q, because we'll pull up then these final two plays, because this was kind of, in a nutshell, what two things that in my mind, and you can help explain it better, but it was, if the defense is going to have some, flaws, the biggest thing to help with giving up yardage is you got to make a play. You got to force turnovers. And the Ravens had a lot of chances here. I'm going to roll this clip for you here, Q. And here's the example. Kyle Hamilton, we know who played well, right? Like, it was a good game for Kyle, but in this biggest moment, it's probably one of the few times the Ravens actually brought pressure to Jameis and got home, kind of. And as it happened here, it was a really missed opportunity. And then we know what the next play is, Q. But just talk about this one to start off.
Yeah, I think part of what Zach Orr's defense, it's about what the Ravens' identity is, which is It's a disguised and pressure. So we're going to bring pressure somewhere, and it's up to you to figure out where the pressure is coming from and then how to defeat it. And I thought Jameis Winston, because there wasn't really too big of a pressure, that he was able to complete a lot of passes. But in this particular case, go ahead and roll it. You could just see where now they're passing off a little crosser, real quick crossing route. Jameis sees his guy coming open. It's straight up man-to-man, but you don't have anybody in his face. And one of the knocks about Jameis is that he's going to give you one. You just got to be ready to take it when he gives it to you. Go ahead and roll it. This is the issue right here. It was a classic overthrow, classic Jameis Winston type throw. And yes, this ends the game. This seals it. This puts you in a position where we're not even talking about it the way we're talking about it right now. We're talking about it as like, ooh, this is something we need to grow upon. But now you're talking about 8 drops. You're talking about leading the league as far as in last and pass defense. But this right here, you do this interception, it seals the game. You win it. Instead, now you give Jameis Winston another chance.
And you know what, Q, and this is kind of going to the next play. We know what happens, but you talked about with bringing pressure. And for the secondary, that is a little bit banged up. Obviously, a guy like Marlon was out. You were shuffling guys in. Different starting lineup without Marcus Williams as well. But the biggest thing that we've talked about is your secondary is going to have some issues. You mentioned it, getting home. And I think we saw a move. We'll get to the Deontay Johnson news with Kevin and talk about just the route runner himself. But on this defensive side, Q, I mean, I'll let you break it down here, but on this game-winning touchdown here, I think it's pretty evident. If you're looking back at number 5 at midfield, he's got all day to do what he wants.
Not only does he have all day to do what he wants, I mean, it's zero coverage. Like, there's no safety help. It's man-to-man. And if you even look at Brandon Stevens down at the bottom, I mean, I think they thought maybe there was going to be something quick or something, but both he and Eddie Jackson are beat. And so go ahead and play it. Because there's no pressure, like, you could have literally picked either one of them. And it just so happens that Eddie Jackson was just caught straight out flat-footed. And because of that flat foot, you're looking at Tillman just going right over the top of him. Both guys just, in particular Eddie Jackson, but both guys, you know, I don't really know what technique this is. It reminds me, it's hilarious to me because when I see cover zero like this and you're looking at, you know, guys trying to get to the quarterback, it reminds me of when Greg Williams was the defensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. Mm-hmm. And we played Tennessee in the regular season, and it was just like this. We needed to make a play and score. And sure enough, like, I literally ran right through the safety, but Eddie Jackson kind of, you know, I don't know why he gave up the way he gave up, but the safety for the Titans, he actually pass interfered me. And so we wound up getting the ball on the 1 yard line, but I don't know where Eddie Jackson's going. But clearly from a Jameis Winston standpoint, like, if I'm, you know, his receiver, I'm like, oh, this is easy, you know, peasy touchdown. So from a cleaning it all up standpoint, you kind of got to figure out, like, who's your personnel. I don't know what's going on with Marcus Williams. I know that John Harbaugh is saying that, yeah, you know, Marcus Williams, he's still in good graces with them, whether or not they were or weren't going to trade him. And, you know, who knows what was going on behind closed doors, all those things. All I know is that they're 32nd ranked pass defense. You had a backup quarterback that is known to give up plays. You had opportunities to seal a deal. You didn't. And now you're sitting here on the other side of the L. And so you got to take it. And now you got 3 losses. And meanwhile, in Pittsburgh, those guys, they're staying steady with the AFC North lead.
Yeah, and I mean, we were talking about it, Brad and I, before. I mean, Brad, you worded it what? that the Ravens defense was targeted 5 times by Jameis Winston on passes, and Eddie Jackson had 4 of them, it felt like.
He had Eddie Jackson, I think, had 3 drop passes, 3 dropped interceptions.
And look, if your defense is going to have that much trouble, Q, at least on the yardage standpoint, and they're not getting the sacks, it's going to be forcing turnovers, right? That's what, and honestly, with that game with the Bucs, that dropped by Mike Evans, and then he got hurt on the play, and then Baker throws a pick, changed the complexion of the game. And then the Ravens were able to score again and again, and all of a sudden, you're ahead, but then the yardage was given up here. It's harder when you can't force that turnover and things aren't clicking on all cylinders. But now, Q, let's go to the other side, because this I don't think the Ravens are done by any means, but they did add a really talented player. People might not think it's a need, but it definitely has become a luxury, right, Kev?
Yeah. And I think when everybody was talking about trades, Q, we certainly did. Just the day before the trade happened, we were talking about, well, what about defensively? What about defensively? But then Baltimore goes out, they get Deontay Johnson, and look, they got a 6th back with them. They trade a 5th round pick. So it's like, all right, you're only paying about $625,000 of the remaining salary there because Carolina is eating that money. But you can slot him in with Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. It's not like he's going to take away a ton from those 2 guys. This is more of a player that maybe Baltimore didn't feel super great about their depth behind Flowers and Bateman. He's a great separator. Now Baltimore has 3 of the best route runner separators in the entire league. I mean, how did you like this deal for the Ravens, and what do you think Deontay actually brings to Baltimore here?
Yeah, so it's interesting because from a bigger picture standpoint, obviously, they're saying he's a Florida guy, and he's staying, I guess, with Nelson Aguilar, and I'm laughing because I'm like, yeah, he's probably going to be staying with him, and he's probably going to take over the master bedroom because Nelly's going to be kicked to the guest room because he's going to be taking some snaps from him. Goes to show you just the selflessness as far as the overall bigger picture as a teammate. However, when it comes to Johnson, I mean, the dude is a route runner. He can create space for Lamar to get him the ball. And I mean, he can make plays. He can catch. He can open it up in open field and make some plays for sure. They say he's a little, of a malcontent at times. So I'm hoping that isn't the case, like an all the time type thing. But yeah, man, like some of the, clearly all these plays against, the Ravens is like, no, but
yeah, it wasn't intended, but it's a good reason to show that this is what he could do against his former team here coming
that's
up.
What I'm saying. Like, I mean, hey, he's going to be, in a position where from a route running standpoint, catching, getting open, I like his game. I'm hoping that he comes in and fits in well, as opposed to what others are saying as far as being a malcontent. And so, time will tell. However, yeah, I love his fit for what the Ravens do offensively in Todd Monken's offense.
So can you explain a little bit more of that fit then? So we just brought up, obviously, showing that he can run some naughty rats here, right, Q? But like, in your mind, what is it that can bring the best to the table for Deontay Johnson in Baltimore? Is it his ability to beat man-to-man coverage? Is it just the ability to free up another guy like that? Now we're talking about getting hot. No longer can people double Mark Andrews, but now Mark Andrews has become that red zone guy again and making plays. Is there like a specific thing you think that Deontay can add to this team that's already one of the top offenses, if not going to be the top offense moving forward?
So part of the NFL, it's matchups. Clearly, personnel packages that you have on the field, the other team, the defense, they're going to try to match it. And to be quite honest with you, I mean, you're hoping that your lesser talented guys can match up with the opposing team's offense's 3rd or 4th receiver. And in this particular case, when you go the tight end situation, that you're going to have to account for Isaiah Likely because it's not just Mark Andrews. Now you got to account for Charlie Kolar because it's not just Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. Well, from a 3 receiver standpoint, there are times where, yes, and he had a critical drop on 3rd down, even though he had the beautiful touchdown slant route in the red zone. But, Nelson at times, there are plays where he should have had. Those are contested catches or whatever that he should have had. I think for Deontay, it gives Lamar an opportunity to, have another weapon at his disposal that can also make strong run after catch type plays. He has a good sense for the open field and has been productive when he was in Carolina as well. So, for Deontay, it's all right, Todd Monken, you want to put in 3 wides. How does it look for you? Oh, okay, you want to get fancy with the spices, even go, a 4 wide receiver, which I don't necessarily think would be on a norm, but you got options when you got a guy like Deontay. And let's be real, like Zay Flowers, hurt himself as far as in the Tampa game. He came back, had some plays and all that. But now you got this receiver that he's a threat. And so there's a little bit more depth there without necessarily, getting too nervous or whatever. But he's a bona fide threat when a guy goes down too.
Yeah. Well, no one's ever going to complain about adding talent, right? And adding something to a offense that already is playing well. And isn't it just kind of funny, Q? A lot of people were complaining about what the wide receiver and offensive weapons were for the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. And all of a sudden now some people that were against a move like this, well, look at this case. Now Deontay Johnson has become your second or third wide receiver, depending on how you view Deontay Johnson. I mean, man, times have changed here since that 2019 season where the Ravens were steamrolling teams there. And hopefully, though, they get over the hump. Before we let you go, Q, we got to talk, Kevin, real quickly about Denver, right? The Broncos, man, like they're paying a lot to a quarterback to play for Pittsburgh. And their quarterback right now, Kevin, Bo Nix, not bad start, but Denver, they're obviously led by that defense.
Yeah, it's a top-rated defense for a reason. Best pass defense in the league, top 5 rushing defense, and then you have Baltimore's offense, which obviously is the best rushing and passing offense in the league. Although obviously we'll monitor Lamar Jackson's status over Friday, see how that ends up going. But for you, Q, what's kind of your biggest key for the Ravens here? Because when I look at this game, for me personally, as Ryan mentioned, you have to be able to make Bo Nix flustered. Kind of what we were talking about last week with Jameis. It's like, don't let him get confidence early and make him make mistakes and capitalize on those. They clearly didn't do it against Cleveland last week. I think they absolutely have to do it this week against Denver.
Here's the one thing I look at with Sean Payton's offense. They actually do a really good job of attacking you and forces you into some conflicts. And so you got to figure out what personnel package you want on the field, and you better be stout with it, and you better not mess around when it comes to lining up and line up correctly. So all those miscommunications / poor technique and everything, it will get even further exposed against a Sean Payton-led offense. Now, historically, they've done well against Sean Payton-led offense, especially even when they had Hall of Famer and Drew Brees. So they've done well against it. It just means that you're going to have to step up. It just means that, it's now or never. Bo Nix being a young player, but a seasoned guy. Like, he's seen a lot of football. He's an older rookie. He plays with some poise, and they don't really put him out there too much. But they do expect him, because of his veteran savvy in Sean's offense, to do well. And so I think that's something that, number one, offensively, you're going to have to get out and get out early, put up, points to the point where it forces them out of their game plan. I'm sure they have a set number of throws that they want for him, about 22 to 25. Any more than that, you're putting him at risk. And I think, as far as Zach Orr's defense, don't be, for whatever the reason, you just don't have the personnel and it's not gelling from a coaching to player conversation, communication. Don't put your guys out there and try to overly trick yourself. Line up, play, and play well. That's something that needs to be shown come Sunday.
Well, Q, I just hope for all Ravens fans here, they get the W and get ready for Cincy, because I'll tell you what, Cincy's going to bring everything that they have, especially after that thriller up there. And for Baltimore, they're still in a good position, but you not overlook anybody of your opponents. And overall, they're still in a good position, but Denver's going to bring it here. And gosh, I am sweating and I'm not even working out right now. This damn hat is hot. But Q, where besides you being on here with us and doing your analyst work, where else can people follow you? And I'm sorry that your sign is right next to a very interesting Kevin Ostreicher.
It's all about Qadri Ismail's missile training. And if you want to check me out, missiletraining.com is where you can find me to trust the madness of missile training. So go to missiletraining.com, interact with me there. It doesn't matter the age, whether you're 6 all the way up. My oldest client's 85. He's doing extremely well. It's about human and sports performance training. Get that good movement pattern in your body to be durable and long lasting, regardless of the sport. Boy, girl, male, female, varsity, pro, all of it. Do all of it. And at the same time, yes, it is all about me being on WJZ on Sundays. Check me out there for my Purple pregame show.
Damn right. That's the thing for us. I'll look at that and go, wait a minute, I recognize that man. And the lighting is always impeccable for that man.
Always.
And Q, we appreciate you, man. We will talk soon. Happy Halloween to you. We'll make sure we get you in on the festivities here in the future here. Gosh, this is hot as hell. All right. Q, I appreciate you.
Fellas.
See ya.
Peace out, Q.
Woo. I'll tell you what, dude, this thing is hot as hell.
Yeah, this is a nightmare to wear.
And Ollie is being an absolute menace right now.
Yeah, what is his deal?
I don't know.
What's he doing?
He might have to shit.
He's walking around.
To be honest, he might.
We do have to. We're gonna take a video break real quick. I think we're gonna try to reset this video thing. The audio will not go away, so you can continue to talk.
Well, why don't should we play a video that we can discuss on the other side?
Sure.
Let's go into what do we want to talk about next? And we wanted to actually that video about Michael Lombardi talking about the Deontay Johnson trade. That'd be a great one to start with. So let's play how they just felt like it was just.
Well, set it up better than that.
Okay. Heel. I didn't know when we were doing it, Kevin.
That's fine.
Here we go.
But where was Michael Lombardi? What was he doing? Yes.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Brad. Thank you. Well, Michael Lombardi was on the Pat McAfee show talking. You might not recognize it, but it is Pat McAfee talking about the Deontay Johnson trade. And essentially the question that Michael Lombardi had is, what are the Panthers doing? Because the value was a no-brainer for Baltimore to make a move.
Ravens make a play for Deontay Johnson. Congrats to both parties, right? That feels like a good move. Chuck said earlier on the hot seat, he said they don't need a wide receiver. They need a damn DB, or they need to figure it out on the defensive side of the ball. Now they got three new
how
coaches.
Do they not take this though? I mean, Pat, here's bet the over under. I mean, basically they just gave them to him. I mean, that 6th round pick that Baltimore sends to him is going to be as close to the 5th. I mean, the 5th round pick for Baltimore is going to be somewhere in the 28th, 29th range of the 5th round. And that 6th round pick of Carolina is probably going to be the first pick of the 6th round. This was really a ridiculous trade. And then here's what makes this trade even better for the Ravens is they'll get the compensatory pick if Johnson gets if he comes out and somebody signs him, he totals into the compensatory pool. Like, I don't know somebody explain to me what Carolina's doing. I mean, I don't understand it. I'm sure Luke Combs is wondering the same thing. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, we have no philosophy. We're giving away guys for 10 spots in the 6th round. Or seriously, when we could have had a compensatory pick for the guy.
But David Tepper let them use his stadium, the venue, everything like that. Raised $24 million for Western North Carolina.
I'm all for that.
That's good.
I'm all for
good stuff happening. You trade away a guy for nothing.
But he should focus on his charity work and let somebody come in and run his football team. That might be a really good idea.
But what if it's a wrong guy?
They're going nowhere fast.
They're going nowhere fast.
I mean,
why don't you go, Lombo?
Vote for you, Lombo.
Why don't you?
Yeah, right.
You,
he
brother.
Interview me. He would interview me.
Lombo.
I can't take even Pat McAfee serious with that. But when you hear it out loud and you look at what it visually looks like, plus you're hearing the words, you're wondering what the hell is going on in Carolina, honestly, right? if you're any team, it seems like it's a no-brainer. By the way, Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, aren't the Ravens only paying a smidgen of his contract for the rest of the way?
Yep. So they're only paying $625,000 for the remainder of Deontay Johnson's contract. Carolina's taking on over $3 million of that money. So for Baltimore, it gives them flexibility because not only do they have 11 draft picks still, that number didn't go up or down with this trade, but they don't have a ton of cap space. And the fact that Carolina was willing to take on that money also means that Baltimore has even more flexibility when it comes to potentially adding somebody else, maybe to their defense.
Yeah, I was hoping that there was going to be another Panther that'd be on his way to Baltimore, or a Panther that was a Raven last year, who then statistically had one of, if not his best season, depending on how you grade it. But Jadeveon Clowney, right? I think that was the part here that we wanted to see. And do you have something else on there?
No, just Zach was right.
Oh, Zach's ready to point. Mr. Cow, take your mute off.
Yeah, so I kind of what you guys were just talking about with the Deontay Johnson trade, we're at the point where I like what Lombardi talked about. Yes, it's not what you needed in terms of defense. Defense is definitely where this team needs to improve the most. You need a guy like maybe a Jadeveon Clowney off the edge to help the defense there. Maybe you get a guy in the secondary. But when the Carolina Panthers come to you and offer something that is practically free, where they are just having you say, hey, do you want Deontay Johnson? You can give us 3 spots in the draft in the 6th round, and you can just have him. It's a no-brainer at that point for Eric DeCosta and the Ravens. So I don't necessarily think this is one of those, oh, the Ravens went out there and made the best move to help the team the most. It was, hey, this can help us, if anything, in a depth role. And if we're going to get it for this price, you might as well take it.
Damn right you take it. Like look, I'm all about if you can add another piece to your team that can make you a Super Bowl contender, you do. Let's go even back to for the Rams at the time where Odell Beckham Jr., yes, was a piece that help them, but did they absolutely need it? No, but did it turn out to pay big dividends because he became another key to that offense? Yeah.
Well, and then we also talked about this with Nick, and I think it was Nick, somebody who had said that that Odell Beckham Jr. was hands down one of the big reasons for Rashad Bateman.
It was Nick.
It was Nick. So I just wanted, so he mentioned that, I think it was last week, talked about that. So just because you're bringing somebody like, I think that also that speaks to what the organization was talking about as far as moving guys down the pecking order. Now, I think Nelson Aguilar is probably going to be like that 4th guy option, but you bring somebody like Deontay in to add another veteran type of presence there, similar to what Odell Beckham did for like a Rashad Bateman, for example.
At the end of the day, you can never have enough receivers that can get open.
Yeah.
And even let's just talk about you never want to talk about, but the injury aspect. How many times have we seen a Lamar Jackson led team get decimated by injuries, and then you have a 36-year-old Deshaun Jackson as your number 1 target? Right. If the Ravens are going to protect the depth of the wide receiver room and continue to add talent any day of the week.
You could have given
for
a
nothing. For
you
nothing, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like there was nothing that the Ravens had to give up for that either.
No.
Exactly. It's free. If you're going to get a playmaker for free, you take that any day of the week.
Yeah, exactly.
And they needed this. I think that a lot of people are so infatuated with the fact that they need defenders, which they do. I'm not saying they don't, but depth wide receiver was actually like, it wasn't their biggest need, wasn't their second biggest need, but it was on their list because you're right, Zach. Guy goes down all of a sudden. Do you trust Nelson Aguilar as a 2? Do you trust Wallace? They clearly don't have anything planned for Tez Walker this season, it feels like. So Deontay Johnson is a clear upgrade over their depth, but it's not a move that's going to eat into Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman's snaps to the point where you're wondering, well, wait, they've both played well this season. What did they do to have a guy go out there and take their snaps? They can use Deontay Johnson in a couple specific roles, but in terms of depth, I feel a lot more confident in Deontay being their 3 as opposed to Nelson Aguilar.
And a guy, by the way, that was Pittsburgh's, you can debate 1 or 2. George Pickens, obviously talented player, can make plays down the field, but Deontay Johnson, the ability to get open is so crucial. And he has wide receiver 1 upside, but a guy that you can feel comfortable with adding to your roster, no doubt about it. And also players coming into situations where you're playing for something now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think you can get the best out of them. So I'm excited to see how that is.
Well,
we'll dive into. Go ahead, Kevin.
Who did he play with in Pittsburgh and Carolina? It was the ghost of Ben Roethlisberger, Duck Hodges, Kenny Pickett.
Don't you speak about Duck Hodges negatively.
Quack.
Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph. In Carolina, it's been Bryce Young and Andy Dalton, and he still put up 1,000-yard seasons in Pittsburgh with those guys and made something of a terrible situation in Carolina. So now you go from those guys to Lamar Jackson. You know, there are questions about what the role will be, but there's no doubt that he is going to be playing with the best quarterback he's ever played with by such a wide margin.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, we'll talk more Ravens here as we get closer. Nick Moore is going to join us at 4:30 with a friend of the show, friend of Nick Moore.
Hopefully a costume.
He might bring a costume. We'll see what happens there. But Tyler Smith, and actually, if you haven't heard of Tyler, maybe you've seen him on the video game Wavelengths. Is that the right term?
I don't know.
The gaming stream.
Seen him on Twitch.
He's one of the. He's a very, very prominent streamer right there. That apparently Nick says he's pretty good. We can get the words from Tyler, but he's a huge Ravens fan, and maybe also with the Halloween type theme. He has a lot of Star Wars history and themes there. So we'll get into that as well. Should be a fun conversation. But before we continue on our journey around the NFL, why don't we take a ride on our Adams Jeep Maryland here?
Would you trust me wearing this?
I don't trust you.
I trust you not wearing it.
Did not wear this while I was driving.
No.
Especially do not stroke your beak while riding your Jeep.
I can ride.
And you can take that however way you want.
There we go.
Do not stroke your beak. Oh, no.
Riding. There we go.
I don't know what that
Little
is.
handlebars on the beat.
What's
No.
I got a lot of thoughts here. But hey, tune in, car enthusiasts. Exciting news coming from Adams Jeep in Aberdeen. Join us for the grand opening of Adams Extreme Motorsports, the ultimate destination for off-road thrills and custom designs. Whether you drive a Toyota, Ford, or Chevy, now you can experience top-notch design and customization services. Previously, that was only exclusive to Jeep owners for over 36 years, and we've seen those Jeeps pumped up and having some big-ass, nice tires. Your Jeep in particular, your Gladiator, got their new tires on there, which, by the way, that deal is you buy 3 tires. You get the last one, the 4th one, for $1.
Yep.
Gladiator's looking like $1 million, by the way.
Sort of.
So, yeah, sort of.
Sort of. Sore subject right now.
Sort of. But to commemorate this special occasion once again,
wheels look amazing. Wheels and tires look amazing.
Offering a fantastic deal. 3 wheels. You can get the 4th one for just $1. So don't miss out on anything with discounts to custom wheels. Rev up your ride and head down to Adams Jeep today to elevate your driving experience. And as always, if you go up there and say, Rocco sucks.
Yes.
And buy a used Jeep, you get $1,000 in gas money. Adams Jeep in Aberdeen, where adventure meets customization. Drive in today. No beaks allowed. I don't know if that part was in there, but it's in my read now. So
It shouldn't be.
Hey guys, well, I don't know. Ollie. Did Ollie disappear?
No, he's right there.
Okay.
He's being a good boy right now.
Good boy. I think he's got to let out a huge.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it's just that's why. Like Kevin, when you get nervous, your beak shows more. It grows.
Does it? I didn't notice.
Yeah, and and for Ollie, he gets a little bit more rambunctious. You know.
All right. Yep.
So anyway, hey, let's. I think this is an interesting topic. There's 2 big topics here in the NFL that I want us to dive into that are outside of Baltimore. And that first one is about tonight. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets are playing another primetime game, which the New York teams in primetime need to stop until further notice because it's not fun for anybody involved. But the question now that was popped up on the facility on Fox today was, let's play out the hypothetical. And the Jets lose tonight to the Texans. James Jones was specifically asked, since he played with Aaron Rodgers, should they move away from Aaron Rodgers completely and bench him if the Jets were to lose this game tonight? So, Brad, let's play that clip.
Which one?
Oh, I have the clip.
Yeah.
That's why. Hey, now, let's play that clip for you right now.
You still want Aaron Rodgers on your roster, all things considered.
I'm done with the show, man. No, I mean, no, that's a real question because I say everything because you got to consider everything. Like, should Aaron Rodgers play another game this season if they lose?
Oh.
Put the young boy, Travis, in there. Like, you got to figure out something. Like, that's why I say everything, because it's going to be so many questions. Your legacy is here, right? You're supposed to come to the Jets. The Packers is doing phenomenal with Jordan Love. You were supposed to come to the Jets to change this thing around. Like, everything is on the line for Aaron Rodgers, and you about to lose 7 straight? And you are one of the main reasons? And y'all know 12 is my dog. I would go to bat for 12 all day, every day. But everything's on the line. I don't know. It may be some talks up there. Hey, man, we ain't going nowhere now. Rodgers could lose. It's 4 wins is the 7th seed. So who knows what can happen, but you got to win. If you don't win, you 2-7. It's over.
So he's saying right there, it is over if they lose tonight. And look, they would drop to what? They are 2-6 on the season right now.
Yeah.
Same record as the New England Patriots with a rookie quarterback when they lost to the Patriots, by the way, with Jacoby Brissett being re-entered into the lineup.
Right.
The Vegas Raiders that don't have a quarterback situation, and a team that went all in. The difference between the Patriots and the Raiders in those teams, they didn't go all in.
Right.
Jets went all in. So where do you start? I think it's after just trading for Devontae Adams and all that, I would find it completely ludicrous to bench him after this game. I don't think that would make sense after this game. It wouldn't. But, Brad, nothing's surprising me anymore.
I was going to say,
with the Jets.
It wouldn't surprise me if we saw something like this, but I agree with you. It would be absolutely insane to do all these moves, fire your head coach, bring in Devontae Adams, make that trade, and not see if it works out. Woody, the owner, I think is just in so much of desperation mode. And he's come out and said this, that he's running out of time as far as being on this earth, and he wants to see the Jets win one. But I think he's making these decisions out of sheer panic and is creating more of a problem instead of just seeing it through. I mean, we saw even Bill Belichick talked about how he thinks Robert Saleh should not have been let go, and he was more than an adequate enough coach. But the play calling has been terrible. The talent that's on that team hasn't been living up to their standards. But I will say this. Aaron Rodgers, and we've talked about this on the show previously, is not the same guy. He wasn't the same guy before he tore his Achilles, and he's even less of that guy now. And I think that's certainly something to at least ponder on. You got Tyrod Taylor, right? Tyrod Taylor's in the back as his backup quarterback
for the Jets, I believe so.
You got Tyrod Taylor back there. I'm not saying that you replace Aaron Rodgers with Tyrod Taylor, but if it starts to get ugly in this game, maybe you sit Aaron Rodgers for the fourth quarter and see what Tyrod can do.
Well, and this is the problem right now, Zach, and we're looking at this whole situation. Where are they going now when they're looking at, what direction is their team going? If Aaron wants to play next year, the question now becomes...
He's not playing that. There's no way he's playing next year.
Well, this is the other thing. You have to decide if you're going to let Devontae Adams walk and go after this season.
Yeah.
Or are you going to try one more year with Aaron Rodgers and say, hey, we're going to bring in a coach that fits it, but we're running out of ways, right? Because everyone, as much as Aaron says...
And time.
And he doesn't have Poole. Zach, the way to get the guys he wanted, he has Poole to get guys in here.
Yeah.
But if you're the Jets now, do you live and die for one more season? Or do you try to figure out who your next option is going to be? Because here's the other reality. Their young stars of Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson are not going to get younger. And those are your nucleus on offense. Quinnen Williams on defense and Sauce Gardner, as the years go on, you can't wait 2 or 3 years.
Get more expensive.
And this is going to be a lot of that. You're going to be throwing around money.
Yeah, listen, if the Jets lose tonight, you just gotta, it's over. It's over. The Aaron Rodgers experiment is over. I don't think they bench him just because of everything they've done to accommodate that man. And with Jordan Travis being hurt, I don't think Tyrod's not going to be the future of the Jets. No. You let it play out. Whatever happens. You're not going to do anything this year. But, with the Jets, you got to rip the Band-Aid off. Let Devontae go. Let Aaron go. move on, completely erase this part of your franchise's history from the books. Because listen, we've sat here 2 years ago, they were Aaron Rodgers away. Then last year he goes down and was, we're just a quarterback away. Then this year he's back. It's, we're just a wide receiver away. They get the wide receiver. It's, we're just a coach away. At some point, we just got to admit, as Bill Belichick has said multiple times, Woody's just being Woody. And we're at the point where the Jets, they made their bed. They put all the chips in on Aaron Rodgers 2 years ago to come in there at 38 years old, 39 years old, and be this savior for them. And it didn't work. It flat out didn't work. And you have to just move on. The longer they hold on to this, the worse it's going to get.
Which also wild too. They're favored to win tonight.
Yeah, well, with the news obviously that Diggs is out. Diggs is out for the year. Nico Collins is still out. So that means,
but you know what? Like
I agree. It's a disrespect to the Texans on this case.
The Houston defense is damn good, and
they're solid.
And
man.
the Jets offense has not been playing up to their. I mean, the Houston defense is better than New England's defense.
Well, that's the other thing too here, Kev, is what's Houston do well as far as on the defensive side? They get after the quarterback. They pressure.
Yeah.
Aaron is not as the mobile Aaron Rodgers that he was.
No.
So, and the Texans with Joe Mixon, man, they can run the ball. I mean, but
it's going to be a Joe Mixon night.
It has to be a Joe Mixon night. Has to be a Joe Mixon night. Maybe we'll have some of those props on there. And by the way, as we look at some of our props here, be a good time to talk about our sponsor, Hollywood Casino up at Charlestown Races in West Virginia.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Are you?
I'm flying my
fly
way.
High, Kim. Fly high.
I'm in West Virginia.
He's
right
a peacock.
Now.
He's flying to West Virginia, but
two cannon.
Right now the odds are Jets are favored by 2.5 right now. At the moment, 2.5 at home. Over and under on the game is 42.5 points.
Taking the under on that.
Oh,
it's gonna be
man.
It's gonna be one of those ugly, typical Amazon Prime football games.
Here's my hot take of the year.
Hot take of the year.
Do away with Thursday night football and make Monday night football double headers reality.
Yes.
Yeah. But also we can't be doing this crap that they've been doing recently. They have to go back to the double headers where one starts at like 7:30 and the next is at 9:30 on the West Coast. They got to stop doing the double headers that start 30 minutes apart. I'm tired of flipping.
Me too. I agree with that. And if the NFL is smart, and I know that they are, I would do away with the Thursday. There hasn't been one good Thursday night football game that I can remember in recent memory.
There was one this year and it was super weird, and then the rest have sucked.
Yeah, well, I'd say last week's Rams and Vikings was entertaining. That was a good game.
Yeah, but then
and then the no call, the face mask that wasn't a face mask
right.
that everybody in the stadium knew was a face mask.
Yeah,
and then they used replay assist on a David Njoku incompletion instead of the face mask that cost the Vikings.
Yeah, right.
Good times, man. Really good times.
1 week ago.
But overall, the product on Thursdays is sometimes questionable. And in general, and it's also been questionable when the Jets have played. This is their second Thursday night game.
Yeah.
Again, I understand that I was interested. Like, I want Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams to be the one that it was 5 years ago. Like,
everybody does.
It would be so fun.
Yeah, my fantasy team does.
Yep, mine did too, but I shipped off Devontae in fantasy. And
I went hard for Devontae in the drafts. Has not been kind to me. And Tyreek. It's been a bad year for me receiver-wise.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and also Joe S. makes up the point here. 49ers Hawks was actually, that was a solid game too. Really good second half of that game. A lot of points. But although
that Tampa Bay Falcons game, wasn't that Thursday? Where the Falcons had that
too.
Yeah, it was like 43-40. But I mean, that was just good because there was just so much happening.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just remembering last year when it was just like 10-7, 16-10.
Yeah.
Like 15-9 for like 10 straight weeks.
Tonight's going to be a game like
that's
that.
like every Giants game, by the way.
Yeah.
Literally.
Like, what was the score with the Steelers? 26-18.
Yeah.
And then when they played the Bengals, it was what 20.
It was low scoring.
15 or something.
Yeah.
Like,
and the Cowboys game as well. It's like 18 to 15 or something like that, or 18 to 13.
It's just tough to do that on to prepare for a game on a short week like that.
Yeah.
Injuries increase. You know,
Right.
you don't have enough time to game plan. It results in terrible football.
It's bad.
Yeah, well, and in general too, talking about the New York teams, in the past, it's been their offense has been struggling. You know, the Giants had that one year where it looked like Daniel Jones's progression, he was growing as a quarterback. And since then, seems like he's regressed, and also that he was hurt. But again, there hasn't been that jump. And speaking of progression of quarterbacks, guys, I think this is a conversation I really wanted to dive into. Does the NFL have a quarterback development problem? Because now we're at this point after the Anthony Richardson news of him being benched, and they said Joe Flacco is going to be the starter moving forward, not just for a game.
Yeah.
He's the guy unless we hear otherwise. Unless an injury happens, Joe Flacco is going to be the starting quarterback, and that's what I can't wait for primetime Joe in that game.
Too.
Vikings, Colts. But Anthony Richardson is now benched. Bryce Young is now only starting because Andy Dalton was in a car accident, and now he's going to be starting again for back-to-back games. He was benched. He was the number 1 overall pick in 2023. There's a huge list here, and I'll pull up the tweet after it, but Adam Schefter had a conversation with Dan Orlovsky, and this was after comments Mel Kiper made. I will read the Mel Kiper comment after Adam Schefter speaks, but they're talking about the situation that's happening here with developing young quarterbacks in the NFL.
There is a world in which it continues to repeat itself over and over. We build up these guys before the draft. Yeah. Everybody goes all in. 1 or 2 may make it. Everybody else crashes and burns, and the cycle starts back over again.
Correct.
So here we have this year already the 1st and 4th overall selections in the 2023 draft. Bryce Young and Anthony Richardson both benched already.
Plus
both their futures are in question with those respective franchises. We saw it with Zach Wilson. We saw it with Trey Lance. We saw it with Mac Jones. We saw it with Justin Fields in Chicago. We see it with most every quarterback. Now, rare is the case where C.J. Stroud jumps up and becomes the star that he has become, or Jaden Daniels, who we were just talking about, jumps up and becomes a star. That is the rarity. Most of these guys wash out, and we build them up. And we're going to start building up Shedeur Sanders and Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers and all these other guys for the 2025 draft, and inevitably 1 or 2 of them will make it, and the rest will wash out.
So the reality is, in general, not all first-round picks, not just quarterbacks, are not going to pan out. That hasn't changed. We're all in agreement on that.
Yeah.
But to finish the quote from Mel Kiper on developing quarterbacks, it was, if you're making mistakes, you're done. What's happening now is what we're seeing, the mental destruction of a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And look, we've already discussed with Bryce Young going into a tough situation in Carolina from the start, and he got his confidence beaten out of him down there. And then so far, he plays a couple games, and then they pull the plug on him again for Andy Dalton. We've seen what Justin Fields went through when he played with Chicago, a team that already knew that they were not ready to win at that moment. We can go through the list of players here, and the tweet that I actually had here, guys, was Sam Block, and I'm going to share my screen here. Sam Block tweeted out just an idea of how many of the quarterbacks recently have now been benched. And can you guys see the screen now?
Yep.
So you can look at what Sam Block, and great tweet by him. Anthony Richardson's 22, Bryce Young's 23, Trey Lance 24, Justin Fields 25, Levis 25, Zach Wilson 25, Mac Jones and Kenny Pickett both 26. All are now benched, right? And of that group, Mac Jones started from the get-go. Kenny Pickett got an early run at being the quarterback there, but I'm going to give I think Pittsburgh gave him a fair share, and I think that Mike Tomlin's done his coaching resume kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah.
But for the other guys, man, all of a sudden, new coaches come in, new philosophy. That's what happened with guys like Justin Fields. Zach Wilson came in where they felt the roster was ready, and he was not ready. I mean, Brad, we talked about this for a long time here, and we're looking at some of the examples. The one that we go to constantly was Jordan Love recently, where he sat behind Aaron Rodgers for years, and now it looks like that was the right decision, and that needs to be talked about.
It's not a coincidence to me anyway that the Packers have now had their third generational quarterback in a row.
Yeah.
And I think that it has everything to do with the fact that they are sitting for at least a year. Aaron Rodgers sat for what, 2-3 years? Maybe even more than that. Anyways, so I just don't think that that's by accident, and that's how things used to be done. And I'm not trying to be that get off my lawn guy, but I just don't think that's a coincidence that we see stuff like that from organizations that seemingly know how to develop a quarterback. We saw that from Patrick Mahomes. He sat down for a year, his first year, and then while Alex Smith was there. We saw obviously what Patrick Mahomes has done since then. You could probably make the argument that maybe Patrick Mahomes would have had a CJ Stroud type of rookie year had he been thrown in there. But I'm telling you, there's got to be a significant advantage to just sitting your first year, almost kind of like being a red shirt in the NFL.
Yeah, let's go through this list here for a second because I think this is interesting in general.
I'll add this just before you do that. Another good example of somebody who got thrown to the wolves, sat for however long, and now had a resurgence in his career is Geno Smith. Another guy.
Geno bounced back, but of the quarterback, go ahead. And Sam Darnold right now.
Sam Darnold, right.
And who knows what the resurgence could be, but right now, Sam Darnold looks like a guy. Like he is actually playing like a top 12 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield.
And Baker Mayfield was asked to start from the get-go, but they scapegoated him.
Yep.
And it looked like that Carolina didn't even think that he could play quarterback, but that's a whole different subject. Baker Mayfield now, look at him in the year he's having down in Tampa Bay and what he did last year. But Buffalo, Josh Allen didn't start that season. Nathan Peterman did. There are going to be some lumps.
Yeah.
Tua almost had his career derailed with Brian Flores in that group.
Yep.
New England, Tom Brady at the time when he went and did his thing. Tom Brady sat behind Drew Bledsoe, and he's been adamant about that. Mac Jones started. Not a great system for them. Maybe Mac Jones then fizzled out. The Jets, we already talked about Zach Wilson. He was not ready, the maturity level for a lot of reasons. Pittsburgh, Kenny Pickett, done. Lamar Jackson didn't start the season for Baltimore.
Right.
He wasn't ready to start the season for Baltimore, and he was thrusted in because of needing a spark, and Joe was banged up. The combination of the two led to the evolution. But, guys, we can keep going down this list over and over and over again. The development there, like you can even say with Trevor Lawrence, the Jaguars have regressed with Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
He was supposed to be the guy.
He's making more money than Lamar.
What? And we'll switch to this side, Zach, because I know you got a point.
Crazy.
But how about this? Jaden Daniels, yes. CJ Stroud, yes. Fantastic. Jalen Hurts didn't start the season. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. Gosh, going down the list of it. Matt Stafford with the Rams was thrusted in, but overall, the theme here for a lot of things is you better be in a good situation to start, or it's done. And by the way, the one I left off the whole list, how about the team that's the two-time defending Super Bowl champions and the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes sitting behind Alex Smith?
I said that.
But I was going through my list of people.
Yeah.
My bad. I know you said it, but it was my bad. Zach, sorry. Continue on.
Yeah, I think two things can be true. The NFL does have an issue with giving quarterbacks time to develop. It is a league where right now, if you are not showing production in the first year or two, it is somebody else's job. But I think the other part that can be true is there are 32 starting quarterbacks in the National Football League. Only 32. That is not a lot of spots. And in a lot of cases, as kind of Schefter talked about, these guys just aren't cut for it. These guys aren't talented enough, whether it's the mental game catches up to them. It becomes too fast. We're at a day and age where, unfortunately, because of the lack of development, it's led to these guys, if they are not ready to roll and be a starter in the first 2 years, it's done. We see it with Zach Wilson. We've seen it with guys. Josh Rosen got a half season after being the, ninth pick? He got a half season. Then they, like you said, Ryan, new coaches come in. They wanted Kyler Murray. Now, Rosen, sorry, your career is completely over. So it is one of those things where I think two things are true. some of these guys aren't talented enough, and that makes it harder for these guys that need just time, because NFL teams are looking, going, okay, if guys don't develop after 2 years, it's over. It's an absurdity for a situation like Brad, you brought up. The Packers don't care. They'll draft a guy in the first round and have him sit 3 years because they know that that is going to give them the best chance to succeed. So I think it's kind of both things are happening. Guys aren't getting time to develop, and then unfortunately, some guys just aren't cut out to be in the NFL at a starting quarterback level.
Yeah, I mean, right there, Kev, to wrap this conversation up, I mean, we want to look at, obviously, let's look at some of the ones that were the number one overall picks, like Peyton Manning, who had his struggles to begin, but he was ready to be an NFL quarterback, but had to learn the system of it. Andrew Luck, but again, going to places where they could try to change things around, but there was a good infrastructure at least in place for those guys. There's going to be these number one picks like Jaden Daniels. Like, he looks like a surefire, locked in star. Also played a lot of games in college, by the way.
Yeah.
Adds to it. Now, Caleb Williams, I can't even tell if it's the coach, and that's a part of the coaching infrastructure. And he's been hyped up, as Brad knows, as to be the next best thing that we've ever seen. But that pressure's on him. It's not a great situation as far as, I don't think development-wise in Chicago, but they're expecting him to be the guy. So I want to just make a point of that. The guys that I just mentioned, Manning, Stafford's another guy. Luck would have been, those are three guys that'd be Hall of Famers.
Drew Brees
that are off the bat.
was another one.
Yeah. Drew Brees went from the Chargers then to the Saints and became Drew Brees. So, Kevin, I mean, there is a thing of some of these guys that we're mentioning could end up being stars. I looked at Brett Favre, by the way, with the Falcons, didn't play that year. Sat out. So just the context of it. But this is the slippery slope that you're playing in. You better hope that you're in a situation and the quarterback's mindset is ready to be, and this is the other phrase that's been thrown around, you have to not only be the leader on the field, you're also the leader of the organization. And that's a hard thing for a young adult to try to be able to decipher.
Yeah, and I think there are a bunch of other factors that we can throw into this conversation. But I mean, the first one being that there's a level of sitting behind an established veteran and learning the game for a set amount of years, especially when, if we want to relate it back to Anthony Richardson, a guy who barely started in high school and college, like that was the big thing on him coming out. But I think even organizationally, it can put teams and even coaches, executives in a tough spot when, you draft the guy super high up and he might not be ready, but the way that they sell it is, okay, experience trumps all, and you go and you let that guy play. When in reality, it'd be better if the guy sat. And sometimes it can be, is a, low-level backup quarterback for a year and a half going to sell as many tickets as starting your high-profile guy? Like, what teams have to make the decision solely based off of the success of that young player's career, because in the long run, that will take you where you need to go. And if there are any other underlying factors, you can't have it happen. But in today's game, compared to where we were, however you want to go back 10 years, 20 years, whatever, it has been an organizational shift across the league. And it seems like really it's the organizations that are drafting at the top seemingly always are there because they can never get it right, because they try so quickly to thrust the guy in that isn't ready. And I mean, Adam Schefter has a point where it's like one or two of these guys will work out. The organization sets them up well, this, that, and the other. But then the rest of the guys will wash out because, a guy has a year that's terrible. And all of a sudden, instead of, maybe development is needed, it's, is this really the option for the future of whatever franchise? And that can take honestly, probably a toll on these quarterbacks' mental as well, of just like questioning themselves, figuring things out. So it has been such a shift. And, I think the numbers speak for themselves when you talk about success rate back then versus where we are now.
Yeah. And I mean, hey, being too much thrusting can get you in trouble, Kevin, I think is what I took from your words there. But it's true. And overall, to finish out that point here, do you like that one, Zach? Do you like how I just zinged that one in there for Toucan?
When Kevin said it, I was like, "Oh, Kevin," and then I was waiting for something.
Come on, oh man.
It was a good thrust here, but this is the point that we're trying to make too. And this is across all sports, by the way. But Kevin, other Kevin, like this Kevin better. Just kidding, Kevin. Wow. You're a good kid. I don't care what the rest of the comments say about you.
Thank you.
But roster mismanagement has also not helped the Jags, talking about Trevor Lawrence. But that's the point we're trying to make, right? You want to be in a place that it's a solid infrastructure. Brad, the Packers, pretty good team over the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
Pretty good team. Kevin, Chiefs been pretty good since Andy Reid's been there.
Pretty good.
One of the best
Pretty
teams,
good.
right? Oh, how about Baltimore with Lamar Jackson, Zach? Pretty good franchise,
And
stable organization.
Well, don't ask the fan base after some weeks, but overall, very good.
Yeah, we're not going to ask the fan bases about that. That's for damn sure. But it is a good point to have here. And again, another good point or thing that I need to mention to you all is make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. The Ryan Ripken Show, we do this live every Monday and Thursday and Sunday. We'll be back. Zach's going to be boots on the ground as we get ready for the Broncos and Ravens. So we want you guys to join us for that. And obviously we'll be making more of our crushes. And Deep Eddie, Brad, we got to figure out what we are making this Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know what we were making.
We got a lot of options here.
We do. We still haven't experimented with the syrups.
Oh, we still haven't. We got to concoct a couple things.
Yeah, there's like a pumpkin syrup down there, which I feel like is appropriate for.
Lot.
And then there's an apple one as well. So a lot of good fall ones down there.
There's like 3 other bottles that we haven't even touched yet down there for
and the Elijah Craig.
Oh yeah, day drink responsibly, Kevin.
Yes.
Toucan Kev.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, Toucan Kev.
All right, I'm with it.
Good kid. All right. Well, Nick Moore and Tyler Smith are going to join us here in a little bit. But guys, let's get back into them. We got all of our football topics for now, right?
Nope.
No, I meant besides the Ravens one, or is
we got the KVM one?
That's what I meant.
Okay.
Going back into Ravens.
Yeah.
Said Hut. Hey, I'm going to stand up for a second. Hey, Kevin, stand up. Stand up. This is part of the show. We got to loosen up here and relax. And just another quantum wave function. Don't think I forgot about you on this. Thank you very much. That's it. Yeah, Ali. Sorry. Wake the beast.
Uh-oh.
There he is. You know what? He destroyed a gridiron golf ball.
Yeah, he did. And another football.
And a football.
There's football pieces everywhere.
Pieces everywhere. Pieces of you, Kevin. Pieces of me. That's an Ashley Simpson song. You have.
Hey, do you use the short urinal, Kevin? You're just having a hard time getting back up into that stool. So
it's a drop.
It's a drop off. Actually, let's go to the full screen for a second. Full screen. Get the big camera for a second.
Okay.
Big camera. Over top. Okay, so Kevin.
That's.
What are we doing?
I don't know. What are we doing?
Turn to your left. There it is. That's wow. There it is. It actually, like, you cannot tell Kevin's face.
No.
It looks like a damn bird.
I wore the all black.
Literally, it fits in like it's just Kevin.
I'm
gonna screenshot that right there. Yeah, Bob right there.
You did not just say that.
What? Who said what?
Oh God, that was the biggest pause in Ryan Ripken show history, right?
No,
now.
there are some other big pauses.
No. Oh my God!
I think Zach just blurred away. 'Cause he can't.
I'm so confused what just happened. I don't have any words for what just went down.
I don't know if it's now.
I just said Bob up and down, Tim. That's all I said.
Okay, I don't know if it's now or when the show ends, but I want to see if you can toss a football and
You want to try to hit it?
Yeah.
Oh God,
Just like a soft toss.
Just
no, he's gonna beam it at you.
Yeah.
That will not work.
See, you know what they say? They use another line when they say you want to hit. You know, it's like, hey, they say don't take your bat up there.
Is this a Rip After Dark story?
Yes. Yeah, we can't tell it. Let's talk about the Ravens here for a second as we get loose too. There's the loosening up right now. We're feeling good, except Ollie. He's just taking a nap here because he's got to take a number 2 key. Toucan Kev. All right, hey, let's talk about this with so Kyle Hamilton talked about recently about the Ravens trying to finish and understanding that, right, Brad? Am I correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah.
So let's play the clip first of Kyle Hamilton discussing kind of the Ravens understanding that they need to finish off games and make some plays.
Pissed to see, because I feel like I'm one of the leaders in that room, and I feel like I kind of take a big part of the blame for that. Just guys not being on the same page and not executing, and obviously, especially if we had guys in the room that couldn't do it, it'd be a different story. But we got everything we could ever want in that room, so we know we have all the answers in the room. We just got to find them.
So right there, and by the way, Kyle Hamilton, again, Ravens are not in that game defensively making plays without that dude. He is a stud.
Yeah.
I hate that it had to be him on that drop interception. The reality was it was one of many opportunities for Baltimore to close out the game.
The crazy part is he was their number one pass rusher in that game, which is not good.
It's not good. Not good, Jim. Not a good time, Bob.
Yeah.
But to take it one more step further, then Kyle Van Noy on his podcast with Gerald McCoy was talking about going off of Kyle Hamilton's comments about what Baltimore needs to do down the stretch.
One thing that I wanted to mention too is the Kyle Hamilton. What a phenomenal player he is.
Yeah, he's incredible.
What a great leader he is already in his young career. He knows he had to make that play. And what I'm just amazed by is just how he's going to bounce back. Like, I'm so impressed with him, just the way he handled the whole situation. He didn't, point the finger at anyone. He knows what type of player he wants to be. Like my opinion, I think he has the chance to be a DPOY in his career. And if he makes that play, you could have thrown him in the hat because he already had a sack fumble in the game and he would have had a pick. I mean, that would have been incredible. He didn't, but I think this is going to make him better. I'm excited to see how he bounces back, how this fuels him. I believe the next time he has the opportunity to catch the ball, he will. And I think that goes for the whole secondary. I think a lot of people are sending out negative energy, which is totally understandable. You want guys to catch the ball, but I believe this next op, when they have chances, they're going to catch the ball. I truly believe that. They work at it, and they're going to get this thing going. We've dropped, unfortunately, some picks, but hey, we're going to turn it around. We're going to make those plays. I believe in the guys we got. We're going to do it.
So I love Kyle Van Noy. I love Kyle Hamilton. They're both big Kyle guys in general here, right?
Yeah.
And also a big fan of Kyle with the Iron Rooster, by the way. So the three Kyles in our life here. But look, there's no sugarcoating it. They understand they can make plays, but that leadership, hearing Kyle Van Noy talk about what Kyle Hamilton can do, understanding that people are frustrated with how Baltimore's not finishing games, but they are still 5-3, and they know that they can be better. So, Zach, I mean, that's the thing right there, is that these boys right here, they understand that they're going to step it up, and they believe that they have the team that can get it done. Now, though, the reality is actions are going to speak louder with words here, and it's going to start going against a rookie quarterback on Sunday with Bo Nix coming to town with Sean Payton and the Broncos.
Yeah, well, let's get something straight. The last person on the Baltimore Ravens defense that I'm worried about is Kyle Hamilton. I understand he had the big drop pick against the Browns that kind of is getting highlighted as the main play right now. Obviously, we saw Eddie Jackson drop a million of them, it felt like. I talked about this earlier this week. If there's anyone on the defense that I think this is going to actually help, it's Kyle Hamilton. He has that kind of almost twisted, sick in the head mindset that these all-time greats have, where moments like this, it doesn't hurt them. It makes them go to a different level. It takes their work ethic to a different level. It makes them want to go out there and prove that they are on this different level than everyone else. So if this was someone else, if this was another Eddie Jackson drop, I'd be like, this could be crucial for his confidence, stuff like that, demoralizing. Kyle Hamilton's one of those guys where I don't really care what happens, how many mistakes. He's going to get better from this, and he's the last guy I'm worried about on that defense.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. And it's the young star, and everyone sees the writing on the wall for Kyle Hamilton, how good he can be, right? And Kev, the Ravens are going to need that, but the reality is too, and you made your bar last week about that there's a divorce between the secondary and the pass rush, or on Monday. It was a nice bar, by the way.
Thank you.
Something's going to have to give here. I don't think that the Ravens secondary necessarily is going to be challenged as much, but at the same time, Jameis Winston just came in with Cedric Tillman, Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku's a beast.
Yeah.
An absolute beast. And Elijah Moore, and they tore up this Ravens secondary, but the biggest
320 yards.
They couldn't get home. I think that is going to be the biggest part here. Is that this Ravens pass rush is going to have to be able to get home. If not, I don't care who's back there at quarterback, inexperienced or not, like Bo Nix, guys playing with a lot of confidence, they're going to make this team pay.
You can't let the confidence get going early. You can't have that be, what ends up happening, because we saw what happened against Cleveland is they let Jameis get confidence. They allowed him to play through mistakes and not take away those should have been interceptions. And that ends up being, part of the reason they lost the game. Now you have an opportunity against a rookie quarterback. And, over the course of Baltimore's franchise history, rookie quarterbacks have struggled against Baltimore's defense because of the exotic looks that they can present. But to me, you let Bo Nix go and you let him just chuck the ball all over you. There are bigger issues that they need to solve on top of the issues that they already have to solve right now.
But here's the thing: it's the beauty. It's the beauty of it. 5-3.
Yeah, true.
Yep. They're
in a great spot. And I still think it's the best thing to get punched in the mouth after you just run off 5 in a row. All right. We in their case, then they could say, hey, that wasn't our best game. We kind of stunk it up, in their opinion, right? Like, we could have played better. Well, guess what? You get humbled. You lose to a division rival. Now you start another winning streak. That's the beauty of it. And, maybe, just maybe, in the process here, they get going and we see some big plays. And maybe someone on special teams got to make a play, Brad. Maybe someone's got to fucking hit somebody running down the field and set the tone for the team.
At 18 miles an hour.
At 18, almost 19 miles an
Almost
hour.
19. Musket shot.
If that happens, if that musket gets going there, how can the Ravens ever lose a game moving forward if number 46 is barreling down the field?
That's right.
So at that point, guys, let's bring in our friend of the show, the Pro Bowler, Nick.
Thanks for the intro, boys.
Hey,
Nicholas.
How's
See,
it
I
going,
think
fellas?
that's what the boys need. They need 46 to just go down there,
Light somebody up.
and light somebody up, dude.
They do. I'll be the first one to admit I gotta have more of a presence in the coverage game, and I haven't had a lot of opportunities yet this year. I missed my one chance against the Bills, fumbled the bag there. So next time around, I won't make that same mistake.
Yeah, red 7.
Yeah.
Right into him, man. Yeah, I mean, but look, what I love, we were talking about it before we get Tyler on here. We love the Kyles, by the way. You actually met the Kyle from the Iron Rooster, though, too. Yeah, you met him that time. We love the 3 Kyles: Kyle Hamilton, Kyle Van Noy, and Kyle with the Iron Rooster. But I love the leadership, that they're not afraid to back down and understand what they got to do. And God, Kyle Hamilton is just figuring out how damn good he's going to be, which is incredible. And I think that the best is going to come. And I can sense it there, Nick. Are we sensing that there's a little bit of a storm brewing? I feel it. I feel it in my bones right now, and maybe I can feel it in Kevin's beak.
Yeah, the Toucan Sam outfit you got going on over there, dude.
Yeah, I watched your reaction when you were backstage.
You got the Fruit Loops going this morning?
I know. I blew it. I blew it with that. I should have. Where's your costume? What are you going as this year?
I just got home from work, so I haven't had time to change. But
we'll go with
I would imagine I'm Fred Flintstone. My son's Bam Bam. So
there you go.
All right. Could have given you this.
Nah, that's a nice little piece right there.
Yeah.
Dabba-doo
for your.
But
bush.
yeah, to your point, Rep. I've been on Kyle Hamilton's train for a long time. I think he's arguably one of our most talented players. He's only in his 3rd year, so he's really figuring out his role and becoming more of that vocal leader on the defense. Obviously, the talent is there. He can play corner. He can play in the slot. He can play safety. He can blitz a quarterback. He can make tackles in the open field, plays on special teams. He can do it all. He's like the Swiss Army knife for us. and we utilize him a lot. And so for him, I thought he played really well on Sunday. Obviously, the drop pick is what everybody's talking about, but I mean, the guy had a hell of a game. He had a strip sack early in the game. He gave us plenty of opportunities to score points, and put our team ahead. And, unfortunately for him, people are going to remember that last play, which, it's a tough play to make. Obviously, he knows he can make that play, and he should have made that play. But at the same time, I thought he played a great game, and you can't beat yourself up on that. We had plenty of opportunities to win the game outside of him making that interception. Obviously, if we pick it, the game's over. No big deal. Next play, they throw a touchdown, and everyone's like, whoa, shit, we dropped the interception. It's like, dude, we had dozens of times that game to win and put the game away, and we just didn't do that. So I'm not going to sit here and blame anybody for that. It's just as a whole, we didn't put our best product out there, and we weren't able to finish the drill. But to your other point with Kyle Van Noy, I think he is that leader for us. I know Roquan is the catalyst for the defense. He is our guy, but Van Noy's been in the league a long time. He's played with Tom Brady. He's won 2 Super Bowls. He's got the most experience on our team other than Jay Tuck. Guy's been around a long time. He's seen a lot of stuff, played in a lot of different systems, and won a lot of football games. And so he has the ability to be that guy like, hey, boys, we're playing like shit right now. We're not getting to the quarterback like we were in the first, in that 5-game winning streak where we were getting multiple sacks for a couple guys every game. And he'll be the first one to say we didn't play our best, and what we did on Sunday is inexcusable and not acceptable for the Baltimore Ravens defense. And he'll get that shit straightened out. I have no doubt in my mind that Van Noy, KVN's doing his thing, getting everybody ready to go, getting that pass rush back. I saw him out earlier with Chuck Smith on yesterday, getting his work in, really working on his craft and trying to perfect it. And he's coming off one of his best years of his career last year, and he started really hot this season. So I look for him to make an impact this weekend. And I think same thing with Kyle Hamilton. I think he's going to look to bounce back on that. And I don't foresee him dropping picks like that in the future.
I can't wait. Hopefully it starts this week where he can just rewrite that right off the jump here.
Yeah, it'd be awesome
to start. And Van Noy, KVN, man, has been so fun. He just felt like he's just a guy that you wanted on your team, and he just fit in. He's just incredible. He's also seems like the chillest dude, right?
Yeah.
Also could whoop your ass. I'm not messing with him personally. Maybe Kevin's feeling a little bit. He's got a little lick.
No, I'm not feeling anything.
Never mind.
I'm not trying to put that out there. I know what that result would be.
Yeah.
He definitely has an edge to him. You never know. You can't tell by his facial expressions where he's at. If he's having a good day, bad day, if he's in a good mood, bad mood. He's always kind of got that edgy look on his face where he could bite your head off, or he could, be the first one to lift you up. So you're always on your toes around KVN.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, you're getting a lot of compliments for your beard, which is nice.
Oh, thanks. The gray is – I'm trying to see which way I need to turn. There's a lot of gray in there.
Well,
but
the other Kevin is saying that the salt and pepper beard is working into perfection.
Oh, thanks. I'm due for a trim tomorrow. I'm going to go get a haircut.
Don't do it. You better not do a touch of gray. Let that thing just continue to build.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't. You guys have never met my dad, but I don't need a touch of gray, boys. It's coming. I'll be Silver Fox here before long.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
It's only a matter of time.
Are you like the George Clooney kind of type with the gray?
Oh yeah, it'll be that see-through white. That's what my dad and my grandmother have. They have that. Both of them have this amazing head of hair, but that thing is white.
Yeah. I think
it's like this. It'd be like me having hair like this.
Oh, okay. Well, Kevin, you got about the same hair right now. Bend down a little bit, Kevin. Bob down.
Oh my God!
Let's
We
see the
gotta
big
stop.
turn.
We gotta find a different phrase. We gotta find a different phrase.
You guys are just
gotta find a different
What a
phrase.
lot of-
There it is. Hey, Nick. It
There he is.
blends in.
Look at that guy. You can't even tell he's there.
You
No, you
can't.
literally can.
Yeah.
He just, unfortunately for him, he didn't bring his Fruit Loops today. Otherwise, the
What
costume would have been complete. This is shame on you, Kevin.
What's the phrase for Fruit Loops?
Is there?
I don't
Well,
know.
we know with Lucky Charms, it's magically
Frosted
delicious.
Flakes, they're
Great as Frosted Flakes.
They're more than good. They're great. Yeah.
Oops, saying.
I don't know.
Is there one?
Yeah.
We'd have to
I don't
fact check that.
It always knows. Follow my nose.
Oh yeah.
Oh, follow your nose.
Follow
Isn't
my
it
nose.
like follow
Fruity
your
taste
nose?
that shows.
There it is. Yep.
Mm.
Follow your nose. That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is it.
Interesting, Joe.
Follow your nose.
Yeah. How are we not supposed to
Interesting.
know that? Well, hey, we're gonna have our new friend of the show, friend of yours here, and we can ask
Yep.
him how actually talented you are at Call of Duty here.
He's
but I know he's
yeah.
figuring out his situation here, but he's giving a little backstory. Tyler Smith, he is T Smitty Dog on
T Dog Smitty.
Smitty, sorry, that's a
TikTok, YouTube, big time Call of Duty guy. Was working with Boston Breach and the Toronto Ultra in the Call of Duty League. Looking for his next gig with I want to say he was talking with Atlanta FaZe and Toronto Ultra again. Him and Judon are boys, and he's kind of followed Judon around. When Judon went to New England, Tyler got his opportunity to work with the Boston Breach, and so Judon was also doing that. He's also a big gamer. And then Tyler, now that Judon's in Atlanta, Tyler's looking for an opportunity to sign up with Atlanta FaZe.
Yeah, so he's following around here too. So is Judon like a legit player?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
he's better than you, right?
No. Let's get the facts straight, okay? Judon he's a good Call of Duty player. He's a great Call of Duty player, but he's not anymore.
Good Madden player too.
There's no way that. So Nick, is there anything that anyone's better than you at?
Yeah, I'm terrible at basketball.
Well, definitely you talked about last night Anthony Edwards and some of the basketball players. They don't have enough ass, and that's probably why they can jump. You got too much ass. So.
Hey, I got a lot of ass, boys. I ain't going. Gravity is not my friend. Okay.
What's your vertical then? You think?
I hit 30. I hit 30 at the combine. 30 at the vert.
Okay.
Look, dude, I'm not built to jump.
Did you run the 40 at
run
the combine?
fast. I mean, at pro day. Sorry, I didn't go to the combine.
Oh,
I mean,
I was going to say, I was like, I will now be finding your 40-yard dash online. I was like, I got to figure that out.
You don't want to look at that, bro. It's I think my official 40-yard dash was a 5:01.
Oh, we got to find that. Is that at the Georgia Pro Day?
Yeah, 2019. It wasn't I ran in my entire life. I've ran 2 official 40-yard dashes, and they were both at my pro day. And let's just say there's a reason I don't run the 40. My start, the 40 is all about the start. If you're not good in your first 10 yards, then you're pretty much chalk the rest of the time. My top, like I am fast. I'm not fast. I am a good runner in an open field, like on the football field, but I don't do like the get off, and my first steps aren't very good. So the 40-yard dash is not my friend. In baseball, it was a 6.7 in the 60. I was a little bit better at that because I could get to my top end speed. It just takes me a little bit longer.
Yeah, takes you a little bit to get going.
Listen, bro. I led my team in stolen bases in 2012, and I played in 2013. Sorry, no wait, 2014. Excuse my language. Dates are all off here, but I was on team with Mauricio Dubon, Manuel Margot, Zue Lin, all these guys that are in the big leagues for speed, and your boy had more bags than all of them. You can fact check it, bro.
We
Ball
will.
Spinners, 2014. I think I had 13 bags, 12 or 13 bags.
Yeah, Nick Moore, certified speed demon here.
No, I was the king of the delay steal.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well,
I was a wizard with the delay.
Nicholas, you're a good kid, man.
We talked about it with when Cedric was on earlier this year about how we practiced that stuff in high school, like reading balls in the dirt and things like that.
Yeah, and jumping up against a wooden fence and just getting absolutely smoked there.
I have what they call savvy, like a good understanding of like in punt, like for instance with football in punt coverage. I can feel like what direction they're trying to run the ball, so I can position myself in a good spot to make a play.
Well, then make a damn play, Nick.
Dude, it's not my fault. Our gunners and our guys that are supposed to make tackles on punt are doing their job, and they're playing great. I mean, Nate and Tez and Sanusi, like those guys are getting down the field. They're way faster than me, and they're making plays. I'm a guy who is there to clean up after the first guy doesn't make the tackle. Then I'm right there. I've been close. Nate's stolen 2 or 3 tackles from me. I was like right behind him, and then this freaking bullet just right across my face and makes the play. And I'm like, oh shit.
You know, if you're behind him, I don't know if he stole the tackle from you.
Well, no, okay.
He's got to be quicker than that.
Yeah, I mean, and
Dude,
actually,
he runs a 4.28, bro. Nobody's quicker than that. Okay.
Yeah, talk about a bullet. You're a musket, and you can call yourself savvy if you want, Nick. But if you're not hitting somebody by the end of the season here, I don't know.
My tackles are gonna come. Okay,
okay.
I average 4 tackles a year. I'm due for a tackle. Look at that. Look at that kid right there. Look at that guy.
Hey, actually, while we have it now, let's bring on Tyler from behind here. Bring him on the screen, out from behind.
Yeah, you love to say
T-Dog Smitty here.
What's up, fellas?
Hey, it's perfect timing here. So, first off, this is great form. This is Nick in 2018?
2019
Pro Day.
2019 Pro Day, baby.
Look at that form.
Holy hell.
Look at that.
A lot less gray. A lot less gray.
A lot less gray, Tyler. A lot less gray, baby. That was what, 26 years old, I think.
Man, back in when times were simpler then.
Yeah, it was also like 245, so it was about 20 pounds lighter. But that guy hadn't figured it out yet. He thought he was the long snapper, but he wasn't, you know?
Yeah.
He hasn't figured it out.
No, it wasn't until 2020 that he figured it out. He beefed up to 260 and he figured it out.
Well, yeah, he became, like people called me when I was playing Nick, I was like 245. And after I dropped down to like, I'm 215, 220 now, I went from, I'm skinny Rip and I used to be fat Rip. We'll just say you're husky Nick, and you're doing your thing.
Hey, I'm locked in.
That's what it was. Thick Nick.
Hey, Belichick did pick his long snapper today.
Oh,
did he? What'd he pick? Who'd he pick?
Trent Sieg.
What?
Oh.
From the Dallas Cowboys. That's who he picked.
That sounded bad. Trent's a great player, and he's a former Baltimore. So he's a great player, but
they're punting a lot though. You know what I mean? Get more reps.
And Aubrey is a really good kicker, so they got a good unit down there. Trent's done a tremendous job since he got to Dallas. Spent a lot of time in Oakland and Las Vegas, and he was a product of Morgan Cox, just like me. He came to Baltimore in 2018, I think, and learned under the GOAT, and he's done really well for himself. He's played a lot more ball than me, so
hey, you know what? What we're gonna do is, Brad, we're saying we need to get a lot of soundboards. We need that.
What? No, that's a bad look. That's a bad look because I respect Trent a lot. I think he's a great
Nick,
player.
Shut up. It's you're fine.
You're totally fine.
You're completely fine. He's a great player. He's unbelievable.
I was shocked.
We just want the soundbite of what? That's all we want.
Did he say why? Did he justify his decision or no?
He did. I just haven't gotten a chance to see it yet because
I'm very surprised he went against Joe Cardona.
That was your credit. Well,
he made Joe the highest paid guy in the league, and
he did. But
as a GM and head coach,
he's not showing bias, Nick. Right?
Yeah.
So
there's no bias. Joe's playing the best, I would say. He has missed 2 games, but he's still playing the best.
Yeah. Well, who's not playing the best, at least in Call of Duty, is not you, Nick. The guy to our right. T-Dog to Tyler on YouTube. Hey, it's working now, though. Glad we got you on here. And the background, obviously, your gaming background, and people can look up. I didn't realize also how many subscribers you have on YouTube, which is ridiculous. Hopefully, we can get to 380 some thousand?
7.
Yeah.
Holy hell, man. And also, you're a Ravens fan right now. You're in the region here.
Yeah. Me and Nick are about 20 minutes each, away from each other, so we see each other quite a bit.
Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, hey, so talk to me a little bit about then that background for the Ravens and sports. So you grew up loving the team, we'll say BN before Nick.
Yeah. I mean, I was from so I live in Westminster, and obviously with the Ravens playing at McDaniel all those years back.
Hell yeah.
McDaniel College was about 10 minutes from my house, so I got to see Ray Lewis, Jermaine Lewis, Jamal Lewis, that whole crew pretty often in the summer. Matt Stover, man, they're all the good ones. What was the quarterback, man? That one was always the issue, was the quarterback. It was like Dilfer, Redmond, or something like that. It was just kind of a random guy every year, and then the defense would carry everybody, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, I mean, big sports guy, big basketball guy, baseball obviously. That's kind of my big three. I was too scared to play football, man. I was afraid to get hit. Basketball, it's a foul. In football, it's encouraged. So you know what I mean? Like I'm like, okay, cool. Like let's play the sport where that helps.
Oh, no doubt about it here. And then obviously you got into the big space in the video game space and Call of Duty specifically, man. So like you kick ass. Nick talks about himself being really good. Can we debunk this one? We know how good you are, but where would you rank Nick honestly? Like if Nick wasn't here and say I'm not here, say Toucan Sam's here for a second. And it's just
okay.
That.
How you doing, Toucan? How you doing, man?
Yeah, hey, turn to the left.
Okay, yeah, so I vanished. Hold on.
Yeah,
I have to do it right though.
Do it right. So say no one's here.
Okay.
How would you rank Nick's game?
So I got to refund the money he gave me. Then is what you're saying?
Correct.
No, no, Nick's pretty good, man. This is me hyping him up. He knows he's a grinder, man. He's a secret grinder that he games a lot. Maybe not as much now with the kids, but I give him a good excuse there. That's fair. But no, hey man, he gets after it. We used to play a couple games together, and he was especially Apex. He's a sneaky Apex guy.
Sneaky Apex guy. But now it's back to the Call of Duty, right? And the new one that came out is it Black Ops 6? Am I saying?
Yeah.
Am I on the right track here? So what's a good KDR now, which means kill to death ratio, right?
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing: we could get into a super boring argument, or there's something called skill-based matchmaking. Nick knows all about it. The high KDs don't happen as often because you start getting paired with people that are your skill level.
Are really good.
And then everybody's like just a 1.0 KD. So for all the people at home, they're like, "What is this nerd talking about?"
Yeah,
it's harder to have a higher KD now, I would say.
And I think we're trying to establish in our group. I don't know if Zach's any good at Call of Duty. You're pretty good, you say, Brad.
Yeah, I'm good. Correct.
Okay. I'll be honest, I'm not.
So what would happen is if you're the worst, we would have you get on and host. So we want to play with you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
True.
That's what I'm learning all about it here in this whole part of it. So, and Nick was saying like you're kind of beginning where you bounced around. So Matt Judon's a big gamer on that space too. Like
yes.
how the hell did you guys get?
This is a wild story. Yeah.
The time to
So the crazy thing is how many athletes you meet in this because of how many athletes they do their practice, they get done their games, they go home and they play.
Yeah.
So a lot of these people watch just like any other profession now. So my buddy works with I don't even know what the terminology is. Like I guess foundations with every athlete. And Matt's just kind of a guy who will be like, "Yeah, you want to play Call of Duty? I have no idea who you are, but let's play." So my buddy said, "Hey, this guy's pretty good at COD. You two should play sometime." Setting us up like we're going on a date, and all of a sudden we were playing, and magically we were playing. The next day we were playing basketball because he lived close to me together, and all of a sudden the rest was history. And then we went to Vegas. I don't know if we tell this story, but we went to Vegas, me and Matt. And then there's Nick at the event that we go to. And Nick knew who I was at the time from TikTok. I mean, it was just it was mind-blowing to me because I'm like, holy crap, these guys are watching my TikTok stuff.
So did Nick, did you fanboy is over?
Yes, I did. I was, so we went to this, it was like a NFLPA seminar, but it was also like a Call of Duty tournament. And so this was like, and there was professional guys there, or like, I don't know if Destroy was professional, but there were some really top talented Call of Duty players that were in this thing. And then Marquez Valdez-Scantling is also a huge gamer, and so is Austin Eckler. And so the NFL hosts this event. We go out to Resorts World in Vegas, and we're doing like the meet and greet. And I know Rodrigo Blankenship was there. So he was like the only guy I knew because I knew him from college. And I brought my dad along because he loves to play craps. So we were just kind of hanging out, and I was like kind of just waiting because nobody knew who I was because I'd only played 1 year in the league, and I was, long snapper, so I'm like under the radar. And so I'm just waiting to hopefully see somebody that I know. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like standing in there, just kind of twiddling my thumbs, like drinking some whiskey. And all of a sudden I had known Tyler because you got to remember during COVID and stuff, Call of Duty was like the thing. And Tyler, he can touch on this in a minute, but he got super famous for, he was the go-to guy for like what guns were good in the game at the time. He was the loadout king. And he started doing these videos of like his gameplay paired with like what guns he's using and all the attachments and stuff. So me and my buddies were like, oh, did you guys see what T-Dog said? Like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, so I knew who he was. I'd watched, hundreds of his videos. And I see him and I was just like, oh my God, I have to say something to this guy, not knowing that he's from Baltimore, lived, right down the street from me in Westminster at the time. And I was like, I got to say something to this guy. So I'm like, go up to him. I'm like, dude, I love your videos. I watch you all the time. You're one of my favorite streamers to watch. I'm just like, going on. And then all of a sudden Judon comes around the corner and he's like, hey, what's up, Nick? How you doing? I'm like, because we were teammates the year before. And he's like, oh yeah, I brought Tyler along. And I think KC was there. And he's like, oh, Tyler's here with me. And I was like, wait a second. How do you know Tyler? And then he's like, oh, Tyler's like, I'm from Westminster. I live in Baltimore. And I'm like, holy crap, dude. I live in Baltimore too. I live in Westminster. And then ever since then, we did, Judon was nice. He took us out. We went dune buggy riding that weekend. We spent a lot of time. We got to hang out there for like 3 or 4 days and then went back, and Tyler and I have, remained friends. We game together whenever I get some time to game. And so it's just been a really cool relationship to grow over the last couple of years. We've gone on dates with him and his wife and spent some time with their family and all that stuff. So it's been very cool.
You went from being a fanboy.
Oh, I was 100% a fanboy, straight up. Like, I'll admit, I was starstruck for sure.
Yeah, you're a good kid, Nick.
Yeah.
So it even happens. It even happens to everybody. I mean, Zach right there. I was trying to think who Zach might have blushed in his cow costume. Good God, I can't get over that in the back. We should have dressed up more. Oh, there it is.
You guys were the only. It's Halloween.
Bo, I told everybody here.
I just got done with work.
I missed the memo too. That's my bad.
You get a pass.
I blame Rip. Rip should have had it.
Whoa. I mean, honestly, hashtag you can blame Rip for all you want, but we are in a little bit of a time crunch here. But I want to get to a couple things, Tyler, before you go, and I want to have you back on more extensively when you don't have the issues, because I want to talk some ball, I want to talk some sports, and on top of gaming, but also like in the presence of like Halloween and kind of being a little bit in fantasy wise. The Star Wars stuff, man, and the Easter eggs and the shit there. I actually was going down a rabbit hole today. I will say I was going down a rabbit hole. Nick, are you a Star Wars guy?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. I'm not quite as detailed as Tyler, but Ashley and I love Star Wars.
and T-Dog, I can tell you like Star Wars.
Yeah, bit of a fan here. Yeah. I got all 9 around the room here.
Oh gosh. Well, so in that case, what is something that we wouldn't know with Star Wars? I saw you doing some Easter eggs. Do you have one that's like a go-to that I need to go and check out?
This isn't you wouldn't be able to see it, but I really like this one. Qui-Gon, who was played by Liam Neeson in episode 1. He is 6'4". So they build the sets for actors who are normally probably like 5'7", 5'8". Well, when he got on the set, he was too big for all the sets. They had to redo them in crunch time and spent like an extra $100,000 or $200,000 on the movie. So they probably went a little over budget on episode 1 because of how tall Liam Neeson was.
I feel like that should be something you check beforehand. I feel like
you would think that they would know walking by him. Like, that guy's probably 6'4".
Yeah, like he's towering over everyone. Maybe we should make sure the set fits before we build it and everything.
Yeah.
They didn't do it.
But he does have a certain set of skills, which we found out
Sure
about
does.
15, 16 years later. Right? And Kevin's about 6'5". Stand up, Kevin.
Oh, yeah. I'm taller than
With
that.
With that beak, dude, he's
probably
definitely
hit
taller
6
than
foot.
that.
Oh, Ollie's
The toucan might have Kevin hit 6 foot.
No.
Is he taller than Rocco yet? With that
He's definitely taller than Rocco with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still using the little journal though.
Yeah, but now that we know, we'll try to get it fixed in the future, Tyler, because I want you to come on but talk more about even with baseball and football. But before we go, obviously, do you think Nick and the Ravens figure it out? And also, do you think Matt Judon would like to come back to Baltimore?
I would love for Matt to come back to Baltimore. I gave him a text when he was doing his thing where he was trying to. I guess he was trying to sneakily get out of there, but yeah, of course. I would love to see him back 15 minutes away rather than in Atlanta. So I don't know how that happens, but let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, and are the Ravens going to win? In bigger case, is Nick going to actually fucking hit somebody on the field?
I actually, of course, Nick has given me a few tickets to come down and watch a couple games. The last one I went to, I don't know what it was, but he got a tackle while I was there. So I don't want to say it, but I might need to come to another game, get this guy on the scoreboard a little bit here.
Yeah.
So,
meanwhile, all we have done is seen Nick get tackled.
Yeah, have you ever seen? I know we're on a time crunch, but we got to show the dry hump into
it'll happen.
Tyler. Oh my goodness! You ever seen Nick get absolutely abused by an undrafted rookie trying to make a team?
I'm telling you, every time Nick's been on his game when I've been there. Maybe we gotta go to more games.
He's a good kid. I'm making Nick's gonna want to just knock me the hell out next time.
We're gonna segue in because I do have one question. I know we got to get out here now, but the most important question when it comes to Star Wars, Tyler, is what is your favorite trilogy?
It's the prequels, and Episode 3 is the best Star Wars of all time.
Oh, there you go.
That was said with some authority, and I agree because Obi-Wan, the prequel Obi-Wan Kenobi is my favorite characters.
Oh yeah,
Ewan McGregor.
I 100% agree with that.
Don't you love the? I think you said it last time. Hello there. That was
Hello there. That's my favorite line. Yeah, I mean it's iconic.
Did you see them with Victor Wembanyama or how you say his name?
No.
You guys got to pull. That's a good one to pull up. He took a picture. Him and Hayden and Victor.
Wow.
They took a picture like last night together, and that's an awkward photo for sure.
So, you know what? Now that this is we've broken bread here because we're actually T-Dog. We're trying to get Nick to bring on friends. It's like Nick and friends, so he can. So it's not just us ripping on him and how Georgia is maybe not as good as people think that they are, but they're winning.
I agree with that.
We're gonna have a good conversation, and now we're able to understand more. And even Cube's all about it. T-Dog can come back. I like him. We like him too.
Hey, that's a Star Wars character in his profile picture.
That's Admiral Akbar.
Akbar.
The Ravens-Browns game. What is it, Brad?
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. It was a trap, and we fell for it.
Yeah. You're a good kid. All right, well, we got to wrap up, but Tyler, I'll shoot you a message on Insta. I'd love to catch up with you, Nick. You're a good kid. Go
I'm
be
around.
Yeah, you're fine.
I got to go take care of my Jets. They're running around upstairs.
Okay. Well, hey, Tyler, Nick, appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
See you, boys.
Peace out.
All right, y'all.
Later. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we're going to have some good segments on all of that in the future here. We're getting it all figured out. It's always a technical thing. We're done here, I think, for today because we got to figure out some things.
Yep.
If we can, Kevin, as we close out, we'll try to have you hit something on the way out here.
Yes, please.
Go give me that. Get that thing. You can cue the music and we can try this out here. Give me that. This is going to be really interesting. As always, here on the Ryan Ripken Show, we appreciate you guys joining us here. Have a day, have a night. Enjoy your Halloween. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully the Ravens get in the win column and get to 6-3. You guys enjoy yourself. All right, Kevin, am I throwing this way or that one?
Oh, did he hit it?
Here, Kevin, give me one more. Here we go. Set high.
And a baby.